It's a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Los Angeles, and what an interleague series this weekend at Dodger Stadium. The first place Boston Red Sox and the second place Los Angeles Dodgers. And a pleasant good afternoon to you. Alongside Jerry Remy, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to Baseball on Fox. For those of you awaiting the Cardinals and the Cubs in Chicago, we'll get you there shortly. A slight delay in that ball game. Meanwhile, Jerry, you saw a good game here last night. Two good, solid teams.
Well, the biggest difference for the Red Sox this year, they are healthy, Tom. You've got Garciaparra healthy, Veritek healthy, and Pedro Martinez. The Dodgers on the other side, terrific starting pitching, a much improved defense. And, of course, Eric Gagne closing out ball games. Last night struck out 4 Red Sox to pick up the save.
These two teams have not met outside of spring training since a 1916 World Series. One, incidentally, by 1918. You know the story after that. First pitch coming up next. A sun splash Saturday afternoon in Southern California. Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series between Omar Dahl and the Los Angeles Dodgers, taking on Grady Little's Boston Red Sox. And here's the starting lineup for Boston, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Ricky Henderson leads off in left field. Johnny Damon in center. Nomar Garciaparra, the shortstop. Shea Hillenbrand at third base. Jason Veritek behind the plate. Juan Diaz in his third big league game is at first. Carlos Mayorga, the second baseman. Trot Nixon in right field. And on the mound, 11-game winner Derek Lowe. And starting at 4, the Dodgers, a crafty left-hander, Omar Dahl.
6th start. He's been in the rotation because Kevin Brown is on the disabled list for the Dodgers. And, of course, Dahl is trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. He missed his last start with some bicep tendonitis. So they'll be watching him very closely. And, of course, he throws a lot of changeups, one after another. Jerky delivery, a little bit like Louis Tiant, who used to pitch for the Red Sox, and should get a lot of ground ball outs.
Both of these starting pitchers today extremely fast workers, so the defenses will have to be alive. And here's the Dodger defense behind Dahl, much improved, as Jerry mentioned, over last year, thanks in large part to the play of Cesar Izturis, the shortstop. Joined in the middle infield by Grzelcyk, Beltre and Karros on the corners, and outfield of Grissom and for Brian Jordan. Dave Robertson, Sean Green, Paul LaDuca will give Omar Dahl the sign. We remind you, as always, this telecast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. So we're set to go here in Los Angeles, and Ricky Henderson in the starting lineup for the Red Sox today. Missed a couple of weeks, Jerry, after crashing into the wall at Yankee Stadium. Injured his back. But he's helped this team so far this season, hasn't he?
He really has. In part-time duty, he's done a heck of a job for the Red Sox. He's offered a spark at the top of the lineup. He still can grab that walk and also steal some bases. But he did miss a couple of weeks for Grady Little as he banged into the wall at Yankee Stadium. He got hit by a pitch down in San Diego and had to come out of the lineup a couple of days ago.
Ricky Henderson, born on Christmas Day, 1958 in Chicago, 43 years young. Henderson, of course, the all-time leader in a number of categories, including home runs. He's hit 80 of them to lead off a game in his career. He looks at ball 1, and we are underway in Los Angeles. A ball and a strike to Henderson, a .245 batter, a couple of home runs, 11 batted in. Undoubtedly a first ballot Hall of Famer, the all-time leader in runs, stolen bases, walks, and as we mentioned, leadoff home runs. What a career.
Red Sox hitters are going to have to be very patient today with Dahl. He does not throw hard. His fastball will be in the mid-80s, and as I mentioned, a lot of changeups.
On the outside corner, 2-2 to Henderson. And Ricky's still animated as ever. At 43, he very much still enjoys playing the game.
He has a flair for the game.
Break-even pitch. Popped up and out of play. It'll stay 2-2 to Henderson. The Red Sox still the leaders in the American League East, a game and a half better than the New York Yankees. 45 wins, tied for the most in the major leagues with New York, Seattle, and Arizona. Still 2-2. There you get a look at the numbers, and Grady Little, after managing 16 years in the minor leagues, taking over midway through spring training. And Jerry, you're around his ball club each and every day. Talk about what a difference Grady Little has made as the first-year manager.
Well, he is exactly what this team, this organization needed at the right time. There's a lot of tension here a year ago, especially the last 6 weeks of the season. Grady Little has walked in as manager and has really calmed everybody down. He doesn't get too high, not too low. He's a very funny guy, can make people laugh, and he's got everybody relaxed and everybody participating in the game.
Again, a 2-2 to Henderson. Swing and a miss. Dahl snuck a fastball by him on the inside corner.
What happens when you're hitting, especially on the right side, you're thinking away, away, away against Dahl, and all of a sudden, even though the fastball is only about 85, he sneaks it by Ricky on the inside part of the plate.
Johnny Damon.
Now the free agent acquisition during the offseason, leaving the Oakland Athletics and coming to Boston, Johnny Damon, hitting at .326, 5 homers, 34 knocked in. Strike one. That batting average for Damon, third best in the American League. And he's red hot right now. He's been nearly a .350 hitter over the last 3 weeks.
And Tom, he's done it both against right-handers and left-handers. We've been very surprised in Boston how well that he has hit against left-handed pitching. Big sweeping breaking ball down and away from Damon. Against lefties, he likes to hit the fastball, like most left-handers.
I was getting ready to ask you, who doesn't? Dahl drops down on him, a little bit different delivery from Dahl, and certainly he's a guy we were talking about, and you touched upon it a moment ago. So many different styles, and turns his back to the batter as he's going into his windup, reminiscent of Luis Tiant. Popped up behind the plate. LaDuca shading his eyes from the sun, and he's got it. 2 gone.
The Red Sox, in facing National League teams, especially this trip going through the West, have faced some very good pitching. There's that back turn to the hitter. The hitter has to really put that all out of his mind and just try to pick up the baseball as it heads toward home plate. He'll throw a lot of different looks at you through the course of a game.
Now Nomar hitting at .328, home runs, 55 runs batted in. Well, logic would tell you if Garciaparra misses most of the year, your chances of winning are not very good. He is the best player on this Boston team.
They survived a while a year ago without Nomar, but then when they lost Pedro Martinez and Jason Varitek, everything was downhill after that.
He got jammed with that pitch, pops it up to the left side as Turris squeezes it tightly to win the inning, and an impressive opening inning for Omar Dahl. So the Dodgers are coming up against Derek Lowe in the bottom of the first. Derek Lowe completing his warm-up tosses, and here's a bat order made out by manager Jim Tracy and brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Dave Roberts leads off in center field. Paul LaDuca behind the plate. And what a year for Sean Green in right field. Eric Karros at first, Marquise Grissom in left, Adrian Beltre at third, Mark Resnick the second baseman, Cesar Izturis a shortstop, Omar Dahl on the mound. And what a year for Derek Lowe. Jerry, right now he would be the starting pitcher for the American League All-Star team.
Leads the American League with a 1.85 ERA, 186 batting average against. What a tremendous story for Lowe. Last year, booed off the field at Fenway Park as a closer, returns as a starting pitcher, and has been absolutely outstanding. A lot of sinkers, a cut fastball, a changeup, and he will certainly keep his infielders busy with ground ball outs.
Did I hear you say they actually boo Boston Red Sox players?
On occasion.
On occasion. Dave Roberts hitting at .305. Roberts had a big base hit here in the ball game last night over the head of Brian Daubach, who was in left field.
And I notice right now that Ricky Henderson playing a little bit deeper out there in left field than Daubach was last night.
Ground ball right side, and as Jerry mentioned, if Lowe is right, you'll see plenty of that today. Boston defensively certainly better than the defense like the Dodgers a year ago. Today they go with Henderson, Damon, and Trot Nixon in the outfield. Hillenbrand, Garciaparra, Baerga, a late addition to the starting lineup, taking over for Lou Merloni. And Juan Diaz at first, a battery of Lowe and Veritek. Paul LaDuca hitting at .309, 3 home runs, 31 batted in. He looks at a strike. LaDuca took the baseball world by surprise last year after spending 8 seasons in the Dodgers minor league system, hitting .300 8 of the 9 years. Finally got a chance last season, but Lowe takes care of him on 2 pitches, 2 away.
The thing about Derek Lowe is he should have very low pitch counts in the course of a game because of this. So they swing a lot early in the count. Lowe, a very good athlete, a former basketball player. Had a chance to go to college to play basketball. He made the right choice, though, by becoming a pitcher. And right there you can see making an outstanding play with the backhand.
So now a great matchup here. Shawn Green, 21 home runs, 56 batted in, a .290 average, against a pitcher who has been the best of any in the major leagues this year, 0-1.
This should be a tough matchup for Derek Lowe. Shawn Green, a very good low ball hitter, and of course Derek Lowe, the sinker ball pitcher.
Oh, 1 to Green. 2 low, a ball and a strike. Why the big turnaround from Derek Lowe?
Well, he's got more weapons right now. When he first came to the Red Sox, he only had the sinker, the curveball. He's added a cut fastball and also a changeup. And of course, being a starting pitcher, he has a chance to work out of some jams. Obviously, as a closer, you don't have that opportunity. He's much more relaxed as a starting pitcher.
The numbers do not lie. Opponents hitting .186 against Derek Lowe. Shattered bat, roller to the right side, and a 1-2-3 opening inning for Lowe. You're watching Fox Sports, home of the 2002 All-Star Game. Green will be there, and he's going to need a new bat.
On the 8th night of July, superhumans will meet to settle the question, who is the greatest home run hitter? Will it be Giambi, Barnes, Chavez, A-Rod, Delgado, Gonzalez, Berkman, or Sosa? It's a superhuman showdown. Watch the Major League Baseball Century 21 Home Run Derby, July 8th. Don't miss it.
The game's greatest players compete in the summer's biggest event, the 2002 All-Star Game, July 9th on Fox.
Welcome back to Los Angeles. Jerry Remy does Hollywood here this weekend.
Not a bad way to make a living.
Not bad at all. No score, nary a base runner through the opening inning, and Shea Hillenbrand leading things off for Boston. For those of you awaiting the Cubs and the Cardinals, that game still delayed. And as to when that one will get started, as soon as we know, we'll pass it along to you. What a season for Hillenbrand, leading All-American League third baseman in 13 home runs, 49 batted in, a .316 batting average. 1-1 pitch. Fouled out of play down the right field line. He came on the scene last year. Not many people were talking much about him, Jerry, but what a season in his second year.
Went to spring training last year. Jimmy Williams gave him the job at third base. He had not played very much third base at all and was learning at the major league level. A much more confident Shea Hillenbrand now, and also a guy that is much more patient at the plate. Last year, he'd get himself out by chasing first pitches no matter where they were. So he had all kind of problems. Didn't walk very much, struck out a lot. He is a completely different player.
He has the most RBIs of all second-year players in the major leagues this season. And that list is a very impressive list. Certainly more household names despite only being in his second year than Hillenbrand. Albert Pujols, the National League Rookie of the Year with the Cardinals. Big Adam Dunn in Cincinnati. Alfonso Soriano of the Yankees. And Junior Spivey down in Arizona. A roller right back to the mound. And Doe will flip to Karros. Hillenbrand retired. Hillenbrand 4 hits here in the game last night.
Catcher number 33.
He was the whole Red Sox offense last night with a couple of home runs and the 4 hits.
Yesterday in Chicago, they played in an hour and 49 minutes. The Cardinals and the Cubs. If Dahl and Lowe are on top of their game here today, and through the first inning, it looks like they might be. We have a legitimate shot at doing that today. Should have never opened my mouth. 1-0 to Jason Veritek.
Gotta love that National League Baseball. Take the DH away and you play quicker games.
You've had a chance now, Jerry, with interleague play. Do you like the DH?
I've always liked the DH because I grew up with it in the American League. But the more I watch some of these games now with the pitcher hitting, it certainly is a different game. I'd like to see something, either have the DH, have the pitchers. I think the interleague thing is a little bit ridiculous the way it is now. You go to American League Park, you use the DH. Go to the National League Park, the pitcher hits.
Popped up short right. Bresolonic out to get it. 2 away.
First baseman number 46, Juan Diaz.
Now big Juan Diaz getting his first start in the field here today. He's only appearing in his 3rd overall game since being brought up from Pawtucket.
Juan Diaz was a big prospect in the Red Sox organization, had a terrible ankle injury about 2 years ago and put on a lot of weight. He is affectionately known as Big Thunder down at AAA, and that's what Grady Little is hoping for, is to provide some power in this lineup for the Red Sox.
Jose Offerman really struggling right now with a bat, as is Tony Clark. That ball in the air and foul ground down the first base line and on a play. Told you Boston a game and a half in front of the Yankees. The Dodgers right on the heels of the defending world champion Diamondbacks. Seems like both teams are winning just about every day. The spread has remained 1 game for the better part of a couple of weeks. They'll flip-flop every now and again, add a game, lose a game. But they're right there. Well, we understand the game at Wrigley Field in Chicago between the Cardinals and the Cubs has now been canceled. And as to why, we'll have more details for you as soon as they become available. So we apologize to those of you who are waiting to see the Redbirds and the Cubbies. We're in Los Angeles. No score. Swing and a miss. The bat goes flying into the Dodger dugout. And that's strike 3 to Diaz. Dahl, his second strikeout. He set down 6 in a row.
Karras.
Derek Lowe set to go in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. And again, we remind you the game at Wrigley Field between the Cardinals and the Cubs has been postponed. And as soon as we get more details as to why, we'll let you know at home. Eric Karros to lead things off in the Dodgers' 2nd inning. He looks at a strike from Lowe. Batting average up for Karros at .310. Power numbers down with 7. But Jim Tracy very happy the way Karros has swung the bat this year. Going the other way much more frequently than in years past, and he's behind Lowe 0-2.
Making more contact. He's walked 13 times, only struck out 32 times on the season. You would expect in this ball game today, when they get base runners, both managers will probably have some hit and run plays because 2 ground ball pitchers try to stay away from that double play.
Lowe wondering where that pitch missed. Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire. Grissom to follow, and then Adrian Beltre here in the LA 2nd inning. 2-2. Lowe, of course, earlier this season threw a no-hitter on April the 27th against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. It was the first no-hitter at Fenway Park since 1965, when Dave Moorhead no-hit the Cleveland Indians. Danley really squeezing Lowe here in this at-bat. 3-2.
Yeah, apparently that outside corner is not going to be called a strike today. That's 2 in this at-bat that Lowe felt like he had strikes on, but not called.
Payoff pitch. Ground ball down to third. Hillenbrand gobbles it up. Good throw, one away.
Left fielder number 9.
Jerry, you played for so many years. It's always easy to say, yeah, Lowe got him out. But he had to throw probably, in his opinion, 3, 4, 5 more pitches to do it. That may not be a big deal now, but maybe in the 7th, 8th, or even 9th inning.
And also later on in the season, because here's a guy that's a starting pitcher for the first time in his career. Now, you don't know what he's going to be like come August, September when he has those innings start to build up on him. The fewer pitches for Derek Lowe in the game, the better.
Marquise Grissom getting a start in left field today. A day off for Brian Jordan in their strike. And Jim Tracy said before the ball game, the Dodgers will face Colorado left-hander Mike Hampton on Monday. And Grissom figures to start that game. They want him ready to go. One and two to Grissom.
The amazing thing, Tom, about Derek Lowe. A lot of hitters swing right on top of that sinker. He gets a lot of strikeouts. He had 10 strikeouts in his last outing against the Atlanta Braves. A lot of guys swinging on top of that sinker ball.
There's another one that he made contact with and was able to roll it foul. The Red Sox made Derek Lowe their closer in 2000 after Tom Gordon underwent the Tommy John surgery. He missed that whole year. He had really thrived as a setup man. 2 and 2 to Grissom. But then in August of last season, when Joe Kerrigan replaced Jimmy Williams as the Boston manager, Lou Urbina replaced Lowe as the closer. And Derek got a chance to start 3 games at the end of the season. Swing and a miss by Grissom. Chase a high fastball.
Third baseman number 29.
Well, we told you the Cubs and Cardinals
Adrian
canceled
Beltre.
today. Let's go to Chicago and find out the reason why.
Excuse me. I thank you for your patience. We regret to inform you, because of a tragedy in the Cardinal family, that the commissioner has canceled the game today. Thank you. Please be respectful. You will find out eventually what has happened. And I ask that you say a prayer for the St. Louis Cardinal family.
The reason for the delay is the Cardinals in Major League Baseball were attempting to contact the wife of Darryl Kyle. Flynn Kyle was notified just moments ago that her husband Darryl, a 33-year-old right-handed pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, was found dead in his hotel room this morning. Therefore, this game has been canceled, and all of us at Fox ask for your thoughts and prayers for his wife Flynn and his children. He has twins, the ages of 5 years old, Cannon and Sierra. He has a young son, Riker, who is less than a year old. So this game, understandably so, has been canceled. Darryl Kyle is dead at the age of 33. That's it from Wrigley Field. I'm Joe Buck.
Well, tragedy obviously has struck the St. Louis Cardinals organization, Jerry, for the second time in a week. Joe Buck, of course, having to break that news here on Fox after learning of the passing of his father, Hall of Fame broadcaster Jack Buck, earlier in the week. And no sooner have our thoughts and prayers been out to the Buck family and all the great fans of Jack Buck across the country and all over the world, for that matter. Now the story of Darryl Kyle found dead in his hotel room. We don't know any more than what you just heard, but shocking.
33 years old, stunning,
The Red Sox.
absolutely horrible. And you could see getting the clips
Number
there
10,
from Chicago. Everybody absolutely devastated at that ballpark. Horrible.
So our thoughts and prayers out to the entire Kyle family, the St. Louis Cardinals organization, and for those who know Darryl Kyle, and have cheered for Darryl Kile throughout his outstanding major league career. If you're just joining us, Darryl Kile found dead in his hotel room in Chicago today, 33 years old. And if we get more details, we will certainly share them with you as this day moves forward. No score here in the top of the third inning. Carlos Baerga, Trot Nixon, Derek Lowe do up against Omar Dahl, who's retired all 6 Boston hitters so far. Baerga has been a terrific pickup for the Boston Red Sox this season, and he hammers this ball into deep left center field. Grissom going back to the track and makes a catch up around his foul. I thought Baerga got more of that ball than it turned out.
And usually here at Dodger Stadium, the ball travels much better during the day than at night. Marquise Grissom taking that ball right in front of the warning track and in front of Dave Roberts, the center fielder. Usually the center fielder has priority, but Roberts couldn't quite get there, and it's Grissom who makes the fine play.
Seven up, 7 down for Omar Dahl, and now Trot Nixon. What has happened to Trot Nixon so far this season, Jerry?
It's been a battle right from the start. He's had spurts where it looks like he's going to get hot. Then all of a sudden he'll run into 2 or 3 left-handed pitches, and he's really had problems against lefties this year. The other thing, too, Tom, last year he was hitting second in the lineup a lot. This year it's been down toward the bottom of the batting order, so the RBI numbers aren't quite there.
1-1. And a breaking ball in the inside corner, and Dahl ahead of Trot Nixon at 1-2. Nixon, a breakout year last year when he hit 27 home runs. That one knocked down by Dahl, and he'll not make a throw.
They're going to give Nixon a hit on this. Of course, the lefty falling off that third base side. He reaches across the body, but that's one that Omar Dahl, I think if he had to do it all over again, probably would have made that play. Ball just rolls too far from him, and you can see how upset he is about not making that play up the middle. It was a nice, big, high bounce, just the ones that the pitchers like.
We'd like to let those of you know along the Fox network that we know we owe all of our affiliates a local commercial break, and we will give that to you this upcoming half inning in the middle of the third. Derek Lowe, 1 of 1 as a batter. Also has a sacrifice, but bunted right back to Dahl, and an easy double play for the Dodger defense. The little things could be the big things in the game here today. A double play ends the inning. We're back after this word from your local Fox station. Bottom half of the third inning, no score, only 1 hit in the game, an infield hit by Trot Nixon in the top of this third. Resalanik is Turris and Dahl against Derek Lowe. Juan Diaz threw his into the dugout, and now Grzelcyk to the backstop.
What do they do? Forget the Pines are here today? Diaz threw one into the Dodger dugout. Now Grzelcyk loses his bat.
And the 2 bats thrown longer than any ball has been hit today. Derek Lowe, the former closer, turned to starter, and again the bat comes flying out of Grzelcyk's hands. This one bounces into the second row. A Red Sox fan has it. Grzelcyk may not get it back.
I don't think he'd want that one back, Tony. And taking a pop at a Red Sox fan, too.
I mean, these two teams can't be angry at one another. They haven't played in a meaningful game since 1916.
They don't even know each other until last night.
And that fan gets to keep the bat. Grzelcyk had thrown it twice after swinging and missing twice. And now the 0-2. A little roller. Lowe, a good athlete, and then throws it, and it hits Grzelcyk. And they're calling Grzelcyk out, saying he ran out of the baseline. The home plate umpire, Kerwin Danley, is calling Grzelcyk out, and Jim Tracy, the Dodgers skipper, is coming out to argue.
You can see right now he's running up on that grass, and the throw is going to hit him. He's got to be inside that white line or both feet on the white line. I'll tell you, that's a big break for the Red Sox, because it looked like that throw was going to be a wild one anyway.
But it looked like a good call, Jerry.
Absolutely. He was on the grass. He was not on the white line.
And now it appears as though Grzelcyk has been thrown out of the game. Jim Tracy and Grzelcyk both standing there arguing. And Kerwin Danley gave the heave-ho, and I believe it's a Dodgers second baseman he got.
Always a tough call for the umpire to make. Obviously, when you're running down that first base line, your natural tendency as a runner is to be up on that grass pod. And here at Dodger Stadium, the grass goes right to the line. Here's Grzelcyk coming up to the home plate umpire, and he's going to be out of this game very quickly. That didn't take long.
The magic words.
Magic words came quickly. When running down the line, he has to stay right on the foul line with both feet or inside this box. And you can see clearly he's out here on the grass right now. And when the ball hits him, they'll make the interference call. It was going to be a wild throw anyway by Derek Lowe. So that's a huge break for the Red Sox.
So not only is Grzelcyk called out, he's thrown out.
Well, how about that at bat, Tom? He lost the bat twice, throwing it away, and then gets called out at first base on the interference call.
It's not your day. One hopper down to Hillenbrand by Cesar Izturis. And just like that, two away here in the Dodger
Pitcher number
territory.
36, Omar Dahl.
More than likely, you would assume Alex Cora will come on to take over at second base for Grzelcyk. He started in place of Mark over there 3 days ago. Omar Dahl hitless on the year, 0 for 11. Strike one from Derek Lowe. Right back to the mound. Lowe going to make sure the underhand feed to Diaz, and that'll end the inning. 9 up, 9 down for the Boston right-hander. And Grzelcyk thrown out of the game. No score at the end of 3. Omar Dahl takes the ball for the top half of the 4th inning. No runs, 1 hit for Boston. No runs, no hits for the Dodgers. Alex Cora will indeed take over at second base for Grzelcyk, who was thrown out, arguing with home plate umpire Kerwin Danley a moment ago. Ricky Henderson struck out swinging on a fastball on the inside corner his first time up. Ball 1. Henderson is 43, has the body of a 23-year-old. He is just in spectacular physical condition, and he doesn't work out during the offseason like a lot of other guys getting in that weight room. Does about 120 push-ups, a little better than 200 sit-ups every day during the offseason, and runs 5 miles a day. Popped up into foul ground, and Beltre a little gun shy before that first step went down near the Dodger dugout. Couldn't get it.
Long way to go here at Dodger Stadium. A lot of foul territory, and he gets right to the top step of the dugout, reaches out, and then gets a little help from his friends as he tumbles down. Very tough today, too, battling the sun and all that foul territory.
Of course, it used to be, you see those first 10, 12 rows, that used to be all foul territory here at Dodger Stadium as well. They just added those seats a couple of years ago. Dodger Stadium, the home of the Los Angeles Dodgers for its 40th year. Just an absolutely beautiful ballpark.
I have not been back here since 1978, and this is incredible how clean.
In the air, left field, hit pretty well. Grissom at the wall, leaps up, can't get it, goodbye. Henderson his third home run, and Boston a 1-0 lead.
Ricky Henderson getting most of his playing time against left-handers, hits his second career home run off Omar Dahl. And Ricky, of course, with a little bit of flair, enjoys every moment of rounding the bases.
Strike one to Johnny Damon. It's funny how Henderson was public enemy number 0 for many years in his career, but now he has such back and forth and give and take with the fans all around the major leagues. He's become somewhat of a favorite.
Well, certainly a guy that's going to the Hall of Fame. One thing about Ricky, he has not changed his style since day one in the big leagues, and it's become accepted by everybody. He used to anger a lot of players when he first came up.
Pulled down to Karros off his glove. And safe at first is Johnny Damon. Well, while we have a moment for more on the tragic story of Darryl Kile, let's go to Jeannie Zalasko.
Well, Tom, we are still waiting for details on Darryl Kile's death. We'll bring them to you as soon as they are available. Meantime, in San Diego, top one, it is Jason Giambi launching one deep to right. Bubba Trammell can't make the play. Alfonso Soriano scores, but then Giambi gets a little greedy, and he is called out at third. But most importantly, the Yankees get on the board. 1-0, bottom three, Tom.
Jeannie, thank you very much. On error charge, Eric Karros allowing Johnny Damon to reach first, and keep an eye on Damon. He has 17 stolen bases. Ball one to Garcia Park.
Eric Karros, who this year has been playing a very solid first base, only makes his 4th error of the season. Still had a chance on the backhand flip from Cora, but not with Johnny Damon running down the line. Too much speed.
Boston running a lot more, Jerry, than they have in recent years, and it certainly helps when you have the all-time stolen base leader, and then you sign a guy like Johnny Damon in the offseason.
Well, that's the other part that Ricky has been so helpful to, is the fact that he has been able to help guys like Johnny Damon. 17, 9, 11 for the stolen base leaders. Johnny Damon's already blown right by the other guys for the last couple of years. But he has worked very hard with Ricky Henderson on taking his lead, and has also adopted that head-first slide into second base.
3-0 to Garcia Parra. And it's in there. A strike. Of course, a head-first slide into home cost Manny Ramirez.
That's right.
The last month and a half.
And the Red Sox are still waiting for his return. They hope it'll be next week when they return to Boston.
3-1 to Garcia Parra. Runner goes, hit down the left field line. Fair or foul. Home run, fair ball, Garcia Parra. His 9th of the season, 3-0 Boston.
The second trip through the order for the Red Sox. Henderson, Damon hitting the ball hard, and now Garcia Parra with the home run. His 9th of the season, his 56th and 57th RBI. The only part of Nomar's game that has been down a little bit has been the long ball.
Everything else has been mighty good.
Garcia Parra gets that pitch down and in, and no question about it. The only question whether it was going to stay fair.
And you can hear a lot of Boston fans at Dodger Stadium here today.
It has been this way for the Red Sox throughout this West Coast swing. A lot of fans in San Diego in the previous series, and certainly here this afternoon.
Of course, Nomar Garcia Parra from Whittier, California. There you get a look at his senior class picture.
Well, things have changed a little bit, and especially the haircut. a soccer player in high school. Nomar absolutely loves soccer.
So too to Shea Hillenbrand. Hillenbrand was the high school soccer player of the year in Arizona. Swung on and fouled out of play. We mentioned the town, Whittier, California. Nomar was born during the summer of 1973 when another son of that town was in the final innings of his presidency, Richard Nixon. Popped up right side of the infield. Cora his first real chance, and he's got it. One away. Well, while we have a moment, it's time for our RadioShack.com trivia question. Charles Johnson was the last Dodger to win a Gold Glove. Who was the last Red Sox player to win a Gold Glove? Well, Jerry, even you're looking a little perplexed. And I mean, you are the dean of Red Sox baseball.
I can't remember yesterday.
I know what you mean. Ball one away to Jason Varitek. Swing and a miss. Showed you that high school picture of Garcia Parra. He was a straight A student, graduated in the top 10 in his class at St. John Bosco. That's an all boys school with a little better than 1,000 students. And like Varitek, Garcia Parra, they were teammates at Georgia Tech. They don't let any dummies in Georgia Tech.
Varitek has his number retired at Georgia Tech. Nomar does not.
Go figure. Over the mound as Torres charges, throws in time to get Varitek 2 away.
That has been one of the biggest difference for the Dodgers' improved defense this year. Torres coming over from the Toronto Blue Jays has been very, very solid at a position where they really needed some help defensively.
Two down, 3 in. Now Juan Diaz. He struck out his first time up, takes ball 1 inside. Get a look at the numbers for Diaz down at AAA Pawtucket. 1-1.
Nomar talking with Tony Clark. Of course, Clark not getting much playing time over the last couple of weeks. Diaz getting the start at first base today in place of Clark.
High into the air, short left field. Grissom coming on, calling off the shortstop Turrison out of the inning, but not before the Red Sox flex their muscles in the 4th against Omar Dahl. Ricky to start it. 2 batters later, Garcia Parra makes it 3-0. Jerry, take a look at this. Just beyond the left field corner, underneath the upper deck, a hive of Yellow Jackets. And speaking of Yellow Jackets, we were just talking a moment ago about Jason Varitek and Nomar Garcia Parra, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. They came to root on their guy today.
And Garcia Parra responds with the home run when he sees the Yellow Jackets, just like college ball.
Three 0 Boston in front. Dodgers bat in the bottom half of the 4th inning, looking for their first base runner against Derek Lowe. Dave Roberts behind 0-2. Oh-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Derek Lowe. Let's go to Joe Buck in Chicago, standing by with Tony La Russa.
Well, Tony La Russa, this has been a tumultuous week, to say the least, for Cardinal baseball, considering what happened back in St. Louis. But news today of Darryl Kyle's passing just hits you in the stomach and keeps on hitting you. It's unbelievable to think that Darryl Kyle passed away.
Well, it's I mean, our club is just totally staggered. I mean, devastated. And we guys know what a pro he is, and he's always one of the first guys in the clubhouse. And when he wasn't the first guy, and then he got later, start putting out calls. Where is he? You know, cell phones, and go back to hotel, and everybody's you know, kind of hoping and praying that he's okay. And then the news, I mean, it's just devastated our club.
As we talk here a little bit after 3 o'clock Central Time, really, there are no details to report, anything more than the police and security is finding him in bed.
Well, first indication, Joe, he's looks like, you know, our guess was that was passed on to me, died in his sleep. Now, that's what I was told. I know they're looking at it. I know that Walt and Barry and I think, you know, Joe Walsh and Dr. Loomis are coming back to the ballpark because they went to the hotel and they have a lot more information, at least as far as it was passed on to me. I mean, it's I mean, there was no bigger leader in our ball club, and in every way, and he healthy as far as health and attitude. I mean, yeah, we're staggered.
It looks like that walking through your clubhouse, as I did briefly a moment ago. How do you, and maybe this is jumping the gun here, but how do you try and regroup as a ball club to go back out? I understand you are going to play tomorrow night, which is Sunday night, here in Chicago.
And who was supposed to pitch?
Darryl Kile was supposed to pitch.
Well, you know, right now, I mean, this was, I think, unanimous in our clubhouse. Every concern was about Flynn and the children. I mean, I don't think, I know Dunk was in my office, you know, a lot of the pitchers and players walking in and out with, there wasn't one concern about what this does for our club on the field. I mean, it was totally about Flynn and the children, and I mean, trying to understand it. You know, I don't, he's have somebody smarter than me explain it because I don't understand it.
Well, Tony, thanks for stopping out here and sharing what you know, which isn't much. We're all hoping to find out more, and I know I speak for you when I say that all of our thoughts and prayers are with the Darryl Kile family.
Thank you, Joe. Certainly are.
That's Tony La Russa here in Chicago on this Saturday afternoon.
Joe, thank you very much. Tony La Russa, thank you very much. For those of you just joining us, Darryl Kile found dead in his hotel bed in Chicago, 33 years young, survived by his wife Flynn, his children Cannon, Sierra, and Riker. Sean Green rips one to right center, and it is long gone. The first time that Derek Lowe had to pitch out of the stretch after that little infield hit a moment ago by LaDuca, the Dodgers' first hit of the game. And now Green flipping the batting glove into the stands for that little cue.
And I mentioned first time up for Green, it should be a good matchup for him. A low ball hitter against a sinker ball pitcher, and Green, who has been in an absolute home run tear, makes it a one-run ball game.
Carros, a bouncing ball at Bayer again. That's out number 2. Since play began on May the 21st, Sean Green has hit now 19 home runs in less than a month.
And that is only the 3rd home run that Derek Lowe has allowed this season.
Derek Lowe went his first 108 innings pitched this season without allowing a home run. Then he gave up 2 in the win over Colorado at Fenway Park. And as Jerry mentioned, just the 3rd home run he's allowed this year. That one off the bat of Sean Green. 3-2 Boston in front, last of the 4th inning. Grissom a check swing, 1-1.
May see a few more pitches come out now for Derek Lowe. He's basically stayed with that sinker all afternoon because it's been working. That time mixing in a curveball.
Sean Green set a major league record with 7 home runs in 3 consecutive games from May the 23rd through May the 25th. He also hit 9 home runs during that week, which set a National League record. He broke a 48-year-old major league record for total bases with 19 in a game when he hit 4 home runs against Milwaukee on the 23rd of May. Roller in front of the plate. Tough play for Veritek. And he throws it high, and Dixon backing up the play in right field. But Diaz couldn't kick the toe on the bag.
Veritek calls off the pitcher, makes the sidearm throw to first base, but Diaz, you can see the foot clearly leaving the bag. And Marquise Grissom, who still runs fairly well, will be safe at first base. They're very close going down that line again. 1 foot on the grass, 1 on the line.
Now Adrian Beltre, he lined out hard to Trot Nixon his first time up.
Going down that first base line for Grissom. He is very, very close to this first base line. Resalanek was a little bit more out on that grass when he was hit by the throw from Derek Lowe.
They ruled that an error on Jason Veritek. I have a sneaking suspicion that might be changed. That's a tough play right there by Veritek.
Well, you got a guy running down the line that's got speed too, so you got to force the play. You've got to rush it a little bit. That might be changed to a base hit.
Tying run aboard. 0-1 to Beltre. Runner goes. Pitch taken inside. Tough pitch to throw for Veritek, and easily stealing second is Grissom. His third stolen base of the year.
That's what we're talking about, Tom. When you get base runners, you've got to try to do something, whether it be steal a base, hit and run. You just can't sit back against sinker ball pitches, or it's going to be double play all afternoon. Have to watch the mound presence now with Derek Lowe. He's been hit by the home run. A couple of numbers out in front of the plate. Things aren't going his way right now.
43rd pitch of the game by Lowe is in the air to right field, which should end the inning. Nixon's got it, and it does. But not before the Dodgers strike back. Boston got 3 in the top of the 4th with a pair of home runs. Green gets 2 of them back with number 22. Sean Green, a 2-run home run in the Dodger 4th inning to bring Los Angeles within a run. Boston leading 3-2, and Omar Dahl turns it loose facing Carlos Baerga. Ball 1 to begin the 5th. Baerga flying out to the warning track in left center field his first time up. Many wondered if Sean Green would be able to duplicate the numbers he had from last season, when he set a Dodgers single season record, hitting 49 home runs. And through the first month and 3 weeks of this season, it looked like he had no chance. He was swinging the bat so poorly, Jim Tracy sat him down. Green had a chance to just sit back and watch. Came back the following day with a double. 2 days later, he hit 4 home runs in 1 game. And really, that has been the turning point of not only Sean Green's season, but the Dodgers season. One and 2 to Baerga. And there's strike 3 called. We talked to Jim Tracy about Sean Green's hitting woes early in the year, and he said, I was never worried about it.
I constantly talked about the fact that the guy's going to hit. He was born to hit. He's done it for too long in his career, and the general consensus was in this clubhouse is that when he does start hitting, someone is going to have to pay for 6 weeks of frustration, and obviously now we see that unfolding.
They're starting to pay. You look at Sean Green, Tom, and you think of most home run hitters, big, strong, powerful guys. He's tall, he's lanky, he's got a quick bat. And when you watch some of the old clips of one of the all-time Red Sox greats, Ted Williams, same body type as Ted Williams, tall and lanky.
The Dodgers have gone 30-19 since Green hit the 4 home runs in 1 game in Milwaukee. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball away to Trot Nixon. Dahl tried the inside corner that time and missed.
Obviously a big inning here for Dahl. He gave up the 3 runs. His teammates came back, provided him with a couple of quick runs in the Green home run. He would love to shut him down here, keep momentum on the Dodgers side.
Break even pitch to Nixon. Tried the breaking ball away, and Trot didn't chase it. Full count. Payoff pitch to Trot Nixon. Swing and a miss. 2 away in the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts for Dahl, giving him 4 in the game. And time to answer our RadioShack.com trivia question. Charles Johnson, the last Dodger to win a Gold Glove. Who was the last Boston Red Sox to win a Gold Glove? And the answer is, how about that? Tony Pena in 1991.
Tony Pena, now, of course, the manager of the Kansas City Royals.
Well, they loved him in Boston, didn't they, Jerry?
He loved to play the game. Lots of enthusiasm. And Dwight Evans had 6 Gold Gloves as a right fielder for the Red Sox. Now their hitting coach.
0-1 to Derek Lowe. And it's too low, a ball and a strike. Jerry mentioned earlier, Lowe, an outstanding basketball player. Growing up in Dearborn, Michigan, was set to become the starting point guard at Eastern Michigan University out of the Mid-American Conference, and then decided to stick with baseball and signed a pro contract. He made the right move.
And he is also the only Red Sox pitcher to have a base hit in interleague play. Had a base hit in San Diego. He messed up 2 sacrifice attempts and then slapped one up the middle for a hit.
3-2. Big bunt in the ball game last night came from Hideo Nomo, the Dodgers starter, on a 2-strike pitch.
Yep, moved 2 guys in the scoring position.
Ground ball right side. Torres got it. And Dahl responds with a 1-2-3 pitch. The Dodgers come to bat trailing by a run. Good crowd on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Los Angeles. Derek Lowe, 11-2 on the season, leading the American League in opponents' batting average, earned run average at 1.85 as a 1-run lead. 3-2 Boston. Latter third in the Dodger batting order. Alex Cora bats for the first time since taking over from Mark Rezolanic, who was thrown out of the game back in the 3rd inning. Was called out for running out of the baseline on his way up to first on a little nubber out in front of the plate. Derek Lowe's throw hit him in the tail. And Rezolanic called out, came back to argue with home plate umpire Kerwin Danley, who quickly threw him out of here. 1-1 to Cora, the younger brother of longtime major leaguer Joey Cora.
Changeup that time from Derek Lowe. I believe that's the first changeup that he has thrown in this ball game today.
1-2 to Cora. Pulled down the right field line and by Juan Diaz into the corner. Nixon over to cut it off. Cora runs well. He's on his way to second safely with a double. I'd like to remind you, tomorrow, start your day with NASCAR this morning, presented by Smirnoff Ice on Fox Sports Net, followed by the Dodge Save Mart 350 on Fox. Then get a full wrap-up of all the day's action on NASCAR Victory Lane on the net. Speed Channel, the home of NASCAR TV. Nothing gets you closer to NASCAR. Now, Jerry, I understand that you and Sean McDonough, Brian Dahlbach, and Trot Nixon all make your weekly picks.
We do for the NASCAR on Fox. And, of course, right now, Nixon and Dahlbach, they know a lot about it. I know absolutely nothing about it. I am in dead last place. Dahlbach is in second place. Nixon's in first place. And, of course, the 2 announcers are bringing up the rear. But they're just drafting for us. We're going to make our move.
Attaboy. Well, they're out to have a look at Derek Lowe.
Derek Lowe coming off the mound here. And let's see, there's some type of injury. Apparently, I don't see anything there, but maybe a groin or a hamstring. We can see him bending over, and immediately the trainer and Grady Little coming out of the Red Sox dugout. So this does not look good for Derek Lowe.
Well, Lowe just threw a couple of warm-up pitches to see if he's all right. And apparently there's still some discussion about whether or not he's going to remain in the game. It looks like he will.
Nobody warming up yet in the bullpen. I would be. Let's see if Grady Little goes back to the dugout, get somebody loosening up just in case.
Shortstop number 3.
Red Sox lost Dustin Hermanson after 1 inning with a groin injury early in the season. He is yet to return to the Red Sox roster, so they don't want to mess around if there's any kind of injury here with Derek Lowe.
A leadoff double by Cora. Now it's his Turris. And the Boston infield thinking Cesar might be up there to bunt. No sign of it on the first pitch. He looks at a strike. Hillenbrand tucked in at third. Likewise for Diaz over at first.
Pitcher on deck. You would expect this Turris probably to be swinging away here.
0-1 delivery. And he drives one into left field. A base hit. They are going to wave around the runner. Ricky slow to get to it. The throw to the plate cut off. Throw to second base and safe there. Tie game.
Credit Dodgers third base coach Glenn Hoffman on reading that play very well. Now, a lot of times with nobody out, they will not take that chance to score the run. They don't want to have him thrown out with nobody out in the inning. But Hoffman watched Ricky come after that ball, and watch the late call here now by Hoffman. He sees that he's not charging the ball that hard. He sends the runner. They pick up the run, and good aggressive Dodger base running to get another man in the scoring position. He slowed up, and then he saw Hoffman waving him on. I think he was surprised.
And now Roberts asked to bunt, puts down a beauty, Dahl rather, and the throw to first is in time, setting the table for Roberts, who will come up there with a runner at third and only 1 out.
Well, that worked out absolutely perfect for the Dodgers. They grab an extra base on the base hit by being aggressive. The pitcher comes to the plate, gets his job done. Now they have the man at third base and only the 1 out. That's his Turris going to second base on that throw from Ricky Henderson. A good hustle base running play.
Infield drawn in for Dave Roberts. Hitting .301 overall in the season, but with runners in scoring position, a .375 hitter.
Is it too early in the game for a possible squeeze?
Here it comes. And it's bunted foul. You called it, Jerry. Well, it's the right combination. You have to have the right guys.
And you also have the Red Sox back on their heels right now. Everything good going for the Dodgers, trying to keep the pressure on. A lot of managers won't squeeze at this stage of the game. But with this combination, why not? Keep the pressure on the defense.
And you throw in the fact, Jerry, that who knows? I mean, Lowe may not be at 100% to come charging in on a ball. 0-1 delivery. Fastball up and in.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised they put the same play on again in this at bat.
A 3-3 game here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The go-ahead run at third. Infield in, 1 out. 1-1 pitch. Right back off the glove of Lowe. And the throw to first pulls Diaz off the bag. His Turris scores a go-ahead run. 4-3 Dodgers. And Lowe slow to get up.
Now this has been a very ugly inning for the Red Sox. Right back to the box, off the glove for Derek Lowe. Now the throw from Garciaparra is going to pull Diaz off that first base bag, and everybody's safe. Nomar had to change directions, makes the sidearm throw. It's going to tail back inside, and everybody's safe. Going on contact. And scoring the run.
An RBI single for Roberts, his 15th run batted in, and now keep an eye on him over at first base. Jim Tracy may continue to try and put on that pressure you were talking about a moment ago. There he goes, first pitch, they pitch out. Throw down to second base, and the tag is in time by Baerga. So that slows down the momentum a little bit.
Trying to to keep the pressure on. Red Sox anticipating that. The first pitch, a pitch out. Veritek out quickly, throws a strike. And the throw right on the bag. Roberts thought he got his hand in there first. A mild argument. There's the sweep tag. Is the hand in there first? Very, very close. Finger on the bag, tag up around the armpit.
Leduca is swinging and fouling it back out of play.
No question the throw beat him to second base, but there's the tag up on the tricep, but look at the fingers on the bag. Roberts with a mild argument, but they can't afford to have anybody else thrown out.
Well, you got to like the aggressiveness, though, by the Dodgers in this inning.
Absolutely. Keep the pressure on.
Leduca pops it up short left center field. Coming in is Damon, and that will end the inning, but not before. The Dodgers strike twice. 3 hits. Nobody left. End of 5. Dodgers 4, Boston 3. Omar Dahl out 3 runs in the Boston 4th inning on a pair of home runs, one to Ricky Henderson, and then a batter later was Nogar Garcia-Parra, making it 3-0 Boston. And Sean Green had a 2-run home run in the 4th, and then 2 more in the Dodger 5th. Henderson's home run, his 3rd of the year. That was leading off the 4th inning. And Ricky to lead things off in the Boston 6th. First pitch swinging, grounds it just foul.
Tom, you were talking earlier about Tracy putting Sean Green on the bench. He's done that with a couple of players recently. He put Beltre on the bench for a game. He had been struggling some. If it worked for Green, he hopes it can work for everybody else.
Jim Tracy has done a marvelous job since taking over as manager here in Los Angeles last year. He reminds many, and of course you always have similarities in any walk of life when a couple of guys basically grow up around the same area. Jim Tracy grew up in Fairfield, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. About a 30-minute drive from there, Dartown, Ohio, the hometown of Walter Alston, the legendary Dodger manager, but the two very similar. Upbeat, positive, as their strike 3 to Henderson. And many feel like Tracy has a chance to be here a long time.
Center field number 18.
We remind you next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, interleague play continues when Mike Piazza and the Mets takes on Jason Giambi and the Yankees, or Barry Bonds and the Giants will take on the A's in the Bay Area. Plus other regional action. It all begins with This Week in Baseball next week at 12:30 Eastern and Pacific.
All kind of great interleague action again next week. And that'll be the end of interleague play for this season.
Look forward to being in Chicago next week. Heyman lifts a fly ball to short right. Green's got it 2 away here in the Red Sox 6. Right now, let's send it back to Jeannie Velasco.
Tom, watching that tight battle in the NL West. What are the Giants up to today? They've got their hands full of birds. And Marty Cordova, solo home run, top 2. His 3rd home run in his last 2 games. The Orioles out in front, top 3.
This National League West race figures to go down to the final week, if not the final game of the season. The Giants 3.5 behind Arizona. These Dodgers only 1 back. When you're talking about 3 outstanding clubs.
First look I've had at the National League West, and I'll tell you, there's some very, very good pitching in this division.
Well, Boston will not play the San Francisco Giants. They played Arizona. They got swept in Fenway Park by the Diamondbacks. They lost the opener to the Dodgers here last night. And there you get a look at the Western Division standings.
On this current road trip through the National League, the Red Sox team average only about .216 coming into today's game.
2-2 to Garcia-Parra, who homered his last time up.
Challenge time from Omar Dahl. The 85-mile-an-hour fastball by Garciaparra.
Popped up. Short left center. Who wants it? Is Turris going out there, and he's got it to end the inning. A very impressive sixth inning for Omar Dahl. Retiring Henderson, Damon, and Garciaparra. The heart of the order coming up for the Dodgers. Sean Green coming up for the Dodgers against Derek Lowe. You mentioned earlier, physique-wise, very reminiscent of the great Ted Williams.
Both tall, slender, same type of swing. The hips open up at the point of contact. One difference, Ted holds onto the bat with two hands. Sean Green releases the bat after contact, but same body type and certainly plenty of power.
Green, a two-run home run to right center field to get the Dodgers on the board in the bottom of the fourth inning. They tacked on two more and have a one-run lead as they bat in the sixth. Up and into Green. 1-1.
That's really where you have to try to pitch on Green. You got to try to tie him up inside. And really, it's like that with most power hitters. Like to extend the arms. Look at those numbers.
3-1 now to Green, who is the only player to hit at least 20 home runs, steal at least 20 bases in each of the last 3 years. (3-1). And there's ball four. We talked to Sean Green about the slump that he was in earlier this season, and now he's got to turn the other way.
I was struggling the first part of the season, first 6 weeks or so. I was really pretty lost to the plate. I'd get some hits here and there, but I never felt like I was in control of my at-bats. And all of a sudden, it just clicked. I don't know why. I had been looking at tapes over and over again, going through last year, the previous year, comparing everything, and it didn't look much different. But for some reason, all of a sudden, it just came.
Did it ever? You saw that graphic a moment ago. 19 home runs since the 21st of May, by far the most in the major league. Now Quiros, who has grounded out twice, once to third, once to second. And that one chopped foul of the third baseline. 0-2 to Eric Quiros.
The other thing about Sean Green is you have to watch him at first base. He has the ability to steal bases. He's got 4 this season, but only caught 1 time.
Oh, 2 to Quiros. Breaking ball low and away. Grissom will follow. The Dodgers with a 1-run lead over Derek Lowe, who's given up 4 runs on 5 hits through the first 5 innings today. And it all started with a little nubber that rolled about 15 feet off the bat of Paul LaDuca in the 4th inning.
I don't know where that is, but I'm not going to exit the ballpark in that direction.
Lowe tried that outside corner. That's a pitch he hasn't gotten all day from Kerwin Danley.
And I'm sure Green will be running here on the 3-2 count.
Green held on by Diaz. There he goes. And a sharp liner by Shea Hillenbrand, and Green makes the turn and easily advances on to third. So here come the Dodgers again. 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 2 on, nobody out in the 6th.
3-2 at first base. You make sure the ball is delivered home. You're not trying to steal a base. You just want to stay out of a double play. You see Green checking the contact, and he knows the play's in front of him. He can go on to third base. That was a shot by Quiros. This is as hard as Derek Lowe has been hit in quite some time. Very little reaction time for Hillenbrand out at third base. Don't need a third base coach to make that decision. The play's in front of you.
Now Grissom. High chopper left side by Hillenbrand. They go to second for one. That's all they'll get. A fielder's choice RBI for Grissom, scoring Green. And this matches a season high for runs allowed by Derek Lowe. Only once has he allowed more than 3. Way back on April the 21st, he gave up 5 against Kansas City.
All you've got to do in that situation is make contact on the ground. You've got yourself a run. The Red Sox are playing back for the double play. They'll just get the force play at second. And 2 runs at this stage of the game huge because you've got Gagne hanging around down in that bullpen. The Red Sox got a taste of that last night.
And I think, Jerry, even for those of us that have been watching the National League day in and day out for the last number of years, to watch Eric Gagne last year to the Eric Gagne now a closer this year, you're still in disbelief. I was talking about that with Jim Tracy today, and Tracy is convinced. I mean, not kidding you, not lying to you, not trying to pump up his own guy. He believes, and I'm not so sure that I don't agree with him, that Gagne is the best closer in the major leagues today. Grounded down at third. Good pick up there by Hillenbrand. They get the out at second base, and during the exchange from glove to hand by Eric, dropped it, but Grissom out at second base.
Hey, nothing's coming easy in this infield on these ground balls. Watch Hillenbrand here. That ball almost got by him. He has to go down to his knee. And then on the transfer of Baega, the ball would just pop out. But he had it in that glove long enough to get the force play. This Dodger infield, very, very hard surface. And you've seen a lot of funny hops today.
Grissom getting a start here today and picks up his 29th run batted in. Down low to Alex Cora. He doubled down the right field line, leading off the 5th, scored on the single by his Turris.
Even though Beltre does not have great speed down at first base, with 2 outs, the possibility to try to get in scoring position with the 2 outs.
Runner goes. Pitch taken. Throw down to second base and out at second base. Veritek cuts down a would-be Dodger base stealer for the 2nd time today. Well, the Dodgers get another run. And at the end of 6, lead 5-3. You're watching Fox Sports. We're back after a break from your local Fox station. Half of the 7th inning here at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers leading the Boston Red Sox 5-3. An outstanding effort by starter Omar Dole. He goes the front 6, allows 3 hits, 3 runs, does not walk a batter, fans 5, and he'll give way to right-hander Giovanni Carrara. Hillenbrand to lead it off. He had 4 hits here last night, including a couple of home runs. 0 for 2 today.
The numbers for Carrara, he worked in the ballgame last night, 2/3 of an inning, giving up an unearned run. He leads bullpen members with the 41 2/3 innings.
Hillenbrand to be followed by Jason Veritek and then Juan Diaz here in the Boston 7th inning. Big slow breaking ball swung on and missed.
Good shot breaking curveball here by Carrara. Hillenbrand, a little buckle in that knee, and when that happens, you're not likely to make contact.
Carrara okays a sign with LaDuca in the 1-2. Into short center field. It'll fall in front of Roberts out there. A base hit by Hillenbrand. So now the tying run will come to the plate for Boston here in the 7th inning.
The 33, Jason Veritek.
The All-Star game returns to Fox from Milwaukee on Tuesday, July the 9th. And we invite you to join us. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver will be in the booth for that one. And you figure Derek Lowe, today's starter for Boston, were the All-Star game decided upon today, the team decided upon today, undoubtedly would be the starting pitcher for the American League. What guys you figure will go to the All-Star game as of today, Jerry, from the Red Sox?
They've got quite a few candidates. They've got Lowe, they've got Pedro, they've got Johnny Damon in center field. Urbina, their close, has been very good. The Dodgers, Gagne certainly, Sean Green, a number of players from both sides. And, of course, Nomar Garcia-Parra, no big surprise there.
1-0. In the air, right field. Sounded like he hit it off the end of the bat. Green's got it. And Veritek retired, one away in the Boston 7th. Now a pinch hitter coming up for Juan Diaz will be Jose Offerman, the former Dodger.
Now batting for Diaz, number 30, Jose Offerman.
If you'd like to send your favorite player to the All-Star game, log on to MLB.com or RadioShack.com and vote now. Don't miss the All-Star game on Fox. And, of course, this year the fans will decide the final member of both the American and National League All-Star teams. Some of you certainly have heard about that. The starters decided by the fans. The managers, Bob Brenly in the National League, Joe Torre, the American League, will bring it up to 29 players and then submit a list of 5 additional players. And of those 5, the fans vote for the 30th member of the All-Star team.
They might vote for Cal Ripken.
They might. Popped up. Behind the second base bag is Turris is there. Like Jim Rice might get some votes. Jerry Remy might get some votes. You were there in the 1978 All-Star game.
Yeah, I had a nice seat at the end of the bench for that one.
Hey, you were there.
That's right.
That's all that matters.
Second base.
Jim Rice is looking for some Hall of Fame votes. That's what he's looking for.
Baerga.
Two down for Carrara here in the 7th inning, and now it's Carlos Baerga. Baerga turns around to bat left-handed against a right-hander Carrara. Went 0 for 2 as a righty against a southpaw Dole. Baerga has resurrected his career in Boston, Jerry, and I know he's been a very important member of that clubhouse.
Something the Red Sox desperately needed. A big surprise, obviously, going to spring training and having Baerga play the way he did to make this club. But he has been absolutely outstanding in that clubhouse, and he's been a tremendous help to Manny Ramirez when Manny's healthy and with the ball club.
0-1. Fastball low and away, a ball and a strike to Baerga.
There's a guy that's been out of the game for a long time, played independent baseball last year, and is so happy to be back in the big leagues. Didn't realize how much he missed being a big league player.
Boy, that's a lesson for all of us in any walk of life. You get there, you get spoiled, and that old adage about you forget where you came from. Down and in, 2-1. Or you forget what got you there.
So players sometimes spend time on the disabled list and they realize, hey, I really enjoy playing this game. I don't like sitting around and watching it. And you have a new appreciation for it after you've been out with a long injury when you get back in there.
Two and 1 to Carlos Baerga. Boston down 2 in the 7th. Bouncing ball at Cora. Backs up a step with time. Inning over. A leadoff single by Hillenbrand, but Carrara retires the next 3. They stand and stretch with the Dodgers leading by 2. A beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Southern California, and the Dodgers come to bat against Derek Lowe in the bottom of the 7th inning, leading 5-3. Alex Cora took over for Mark Resolanek, who was thrown out arguing with home plate umpire Kerwin Danley back in the 3rd inning. Danley said he ran out of the baseline on his way up to first. That one right back to the mound, and Lowe will throw out Cora.
Shortstop, number 3.
We talked about Derek Lowe and his chances of being an all-star. We asked him about that before the game.
I try not to think about it. I really don't. You know, coming into the year, you know, the All-Star game wasn't even on the radar screen for me. Just start off good, and if it happens, it happens. But if it does, I mean, I would be on cloud 9 for those 3 days.
Lowe has been to an all-star game once as a reliever 2 years ago. Much has been made of the John Burkett situation in Boston.
John Burkett saying that he would probably not participate if picked to go to the All-Star game because it's in Bud Selig's hometown. Burkett with the new yellow blonde hair. Derek Lowe is a great story because last year, just a disaster. Blowing games for the Red Sox. The fans were all over him. He got 3 starts at the end of the year, turned his confidence around, and he's pitched great all season long.
Jerry said it gave him something during the offseason to build on. I mean, to be able to look back at a year that had a lot of bumps and a lot of bruises and feel pretty good about himself, right?
It's kind of like playing golf. You have a bad 17 holes, but you have that great 18th that's going to bring you back. And that's what happened to Lowe last year. Had 3 starts at the end, pitched very well, had something to build on for the whole offseason.
Fouled back out of play by Cesar Izturis. 1-2 and an RBI single in the 5th inning. Dave Hansen in the on-deck circle will bat for Giovanni Carrara. Popped up center field. Damon drifting into right center, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Our game summary brought to you by Clarinet. Derek Lowe came in with an ERA of 1.8.
Your attention, please.
He's matched his season high
For the
in
Dodgers,
runs
now batting.
allowed with 5. Omar Dahl gave up all 3 runs in the 4th inning. Only
26.
allowed 3 hits over his 6 innings.
Boca
Ricky
Chica.
with a home run. Nomar with a home run. Green with a home run. Iram Boca Chica will bat instead of Dave Hansen. See, just 3 home runs for Boca Chica, but don't let that fool you. This guy has some serious pop in that bat. I mean, he's not exactly like Mark McGwire, where you'd come to watch him take batting practice. But I'm telling you, if you ever get down here early sometime and watch this guy swing in the cage, he hits him as long and far as anybody around. Of course, the old baseball adage is, what time is it? 2-2.
Done a very nice job for the Dodgers as a pinch hitter this season. Chris Haney warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. Derek Lowe is the 2nd batter of the 8th inning. He'll be pinch hit for.
Jerry, I have to believe, even though this has not been a good outing for Lowe, as that one got away from him up and into Boca Chica, but maybe a learning game for Derek Lowe. I mean, let's face it, he's only had one other game the entire year like this, and it's been a while since he's been a starting pitcher. But he's battled. I mean, here he is in the bottom of the 7th. He's going to get through 7. We'll talk more about that when we return. A 1-2-3 7th for Lowe. He trails 5-2. It's time to take a look at our Pepsi fan cam. Generally, we take shots of fans around the ballpark, but not today. We remember the legendary Hall of Fame voice of the St. Louis Cardinals in Major League Baseball, Jack Buck. Originally teamed up with the late, great Harry Carey in St. Louis, and his son Joe, a Hall of Fame to be broadcaster. Jack Buck, 77 years young. Our thoughts and prayers with Jack, his family, and so many fans all over the country. "5-3, Dodgers lead it as we open the 8th inning. And Nixon puts down a perfect bunt and a single to begin the 8th inning against Jesse Orosco. Of course, more tragedy earlier today in regards to the St. Louis Cardinals. For more on that, let's go to Chicago.
I couldn't believe it, and I still don't believe it. DK was a very special player that I had. I recruited him to Colorado. You know, he signed with me as a free agent in Colorado. He was always perfect teammate to all his guys that played with him.
There was no bigger leader in our ball club, and in every way, and he healthy as far as health and attitude. I mean, yeah, we're staggered.
For those of you that did not hear the news, Darryl Kyle, right-handed starter, National League All-Star for the St. Louis Cardinals, found dead in his hotel room in Chicago early this morning at 33 years old. Grounded to the left side. They'll go to second, and do they get the out? It's thrown into right field. Advancing on to third is Nixon. Poor decision by the rookie Torres there. He had a sure out at first, which of course is the tying run.
They need 6 outs to win this ball game. They have a 2-run lead, and instead of making a routine play the first, he tries to get Trot Nixon on that forced play. That ball just tails back into the runner and out into right field.
Defensive base.
He's going to pull the second baseman Cora off the bag with Nixon sliding in hard. So now the Red Sox have a first and third with nobody out. Poor defensive play there by Torres.
So now the tying run is at first base. Lou Merloni will come on the pitch run for Tony Clark.
Rookie Henderson.
Runners on the corners, nobody out. And that may do it for Jesse Orozco. Paul Quantrill, the right-hander, is ready in the LA bullpen. So we'll have a pitching change. Orozco allowed a bunt single to Nixon, and then poor defense behind him. That's all for Orozco. We'll be back with Boston Threat.
46, Paul Quantrill.
Boston with runners on the corners, nobody out here in the 8th inning, trailing the Dodgers 5-3. And now on the pitch, a busy man the last couple of years. Last season in Toronto, this year with the Dodgers, Paul Quantrill.
41st appearance already, ranks 3rd among major league relievers in games pitched. And what he's looking for here is a ground ball double play. They don't care very much about that man at third base. They need a couple of quick outs.
Quantrill originally drafted by the Red Sox in the 6th round back in '89. He faces Ricky Henderson, and it's strike one on the outside corner.
And if you're thinking about Henderson possibly sacrificing to get 2 men in scoring position, forget about it. Red Sox are next to last in the American League in sacrifices. The only team with fewer, the Oakland Athletics.
And it wouldn't be a bad idea when you see those numbers right there for Henderson against Quantrill. 0-1. A ball and a strike to Henderson. Johnny Damon on deck, and then after that, Nomar Garciaparra. Grounded up the third base line, foul. You see Boston every day. A big reason why they are where they are, with 45 wins on the season. Clutch hitting with runners in scoring position.
Even 300 batting average for the Red Sox with runners in scoring position. The only American League team better, the Seattle Mariners, at 307. That was Tim Wakefield loosening up down in the bullpen for the Red Sox.
Boston fabulous away from Fenway Park.
Only explanation for that, great room service.
1-2 to Ricky. Now back out of play, 1-2. And you know Henderson partakes in that. I asked him a couple of years ago, Ricky, what'd you do during the winter? And he looked at me, smiled, and said, I went to a lot of different cities and relaxed.
Well, the righties from Boston love to go talk to Ricky after the game. You never know what you're going to get.
Tying run at first. Boston down 2 in the 8th. Ricky got jammed with a fastball, but muscled it out of play to hang around.
Quantrill, a one-time member of the Red Sox organization, some very good years up in Toronto. Very durable.
He led the American League pitching in 80 games with the Blue Jays last season. Ricky with the left foot in, now the right. Runners on the corners, nobody out, and Quantrill backs off the rubber. Back to the mound. They go to second. Poor throw there, but they're able to turn the double play. What a play by Alex Cora at second base to take a bad throw from Quantrill and still turn two. Boston scores a run, but the base is empty, 2 away.
That's exactly what they wanted right there. They'll give up the 1 run and make it a 1-run game, but they desperately wanted 2 outs. And you're right, Tom, a terrific play by Cora at second base. This is not easy. Has to go down very low with that runner coming in, and then the sidearm flip to first base to get Ricky, who's got very good speed, getting down the line.
Now Johnny Damon. Strike 1 on the outside edge. Boston within a run and 4 outs to play with. No sign of Eric Gagne right now. Of course, he has the bottom of the 8th inning to get loose. But Gagne has pitched the last 3 games. Jim Tracy quick to point out that he's only thrown 44 pitches total in those 3 games, but he didn't want to bring him in the 8th inning today. One and 2 to Johnny Damon. Popped up, foul territory, and out of play. Damon not known as a home run hitter, but every now and again you can make a mistake and he will make you pay, especially down that right field line.
You make a mistake with a breaking ball down and in, and he can take it deep.
That's why they're pitching him away.
Pedro Martinez. Strong outing last time out against the San Diego Padres, and Red Sox fans a little bit more relaxed after that outing. Pedro himself has admitted from time to time doesn't know what to expect.
Breaking ball, strike 3 called, and what a job by Quantrill. Gets a double play and a strikeout to end the inning. The Dodgers bat in the bottom of the 8th, leading by 1. This week, the Best Sports Show Period's All-Star Summer kicks off with all new episodes, and what better way than sports trivia? Plus one of Hollywood's biggest stars. But does Adam Sandler really want Tom's job? And it's a competition you've always dreamed of. Who wants to date a pro cheerleader? It begins this week on Fox Sports Net.
Can't wait for that one.
Oh, boy. Big league. Tim Wakefield now takes over on the mound for the Red Sox.
Wakefield has served in just about every role for the Red Sox. A starting pitcher, a closer for a while with the Red Sox, and now as a setup man.
Dave Roberts behind Wakefield at 0-2 and cranking it up down in the Dodger bullpen, their closer. With just electric stuff is Eric Gagne. Gone swinging is Dave Roberts. We talked to Jason Varitek about what Tim Wakefield has meant to this Boston pitching staff.
Well, Wake's got a knuckleball. It's going to go north, south, east, or west, and we're not sure which direction it's going to go. So, you know, he's been a godsend to our bullpen, to our pitching staff, and he's been able to hold a lot of things together for us and take a lot of pressure off a lot of people.
Now Lowe, he looks at a strike.
It's interesting. Every time Wakefield's name comes up after a season, will they keep him? Will they trade him? Will they let him go as a free agent? And every year he serves a different role on his pitching staff.
Lowe lifts one into left field, and Ricky's got it for the second out. But I would imagine, and you see these guys play every day, Jerry, you know, when you throw the knuckleball, it's not the wear and tear of a guy who's out there like a Gagne or Quantrill for that matter, but you can use him a number of days in a row for a lot of innings.
Here you see the rotation, almost no rotation on the knuckleball, and you're exactly right, Tom. He saves the pitching staff. He's been used to come back and start games on 2 days rest because everybody else has been beat up. They can use him in the bullpen, give you 4 or 5 innings. Just saves the whole pitching staff, as Jason Varitek said. He'll not only throw that knuckleball, he'll throw some curveballs and an occasional fastball.
Sean Green, a 2-run home run to right center in the 4th inning. Diving play made at second, and that'll end the inning. Carlos Baerga, those young legs again with Boston. The Red Sox bat him a ninth against Gagne, down a run.
Omar Garcia-Parra.
I'd like to remind you, coming up right after the game, our post-game report with Jeannie and Kevin. We'll have, of course, scores and highlights from around the major leagues and more on the tragic story of Darryl Kyle, who died this morning in Chicago at 33 years old. Now taking over on the mound, the starter turned closer, Eric Gagne.
26 saves and 27 opportunities. Look at the walks. Only 4 walks in 38 in the 3rd innings.
Gagne struck out all 4 batters he faced last night, and Omar thinking I better jump on that first pitch fastball, and he fouled it straight back.
Came in last night to try to get 4 outs. He got Nixon on a changeup, Mirabelli on a fastball, Merloni on a fastball, and Varitek on a fastball.
He has converted 16 straight save opportunities. 96 on the first fastball, 95 there. Gagne has only blown 1 save all year. You talked about the walks. He's not issued a walk since the 4th of May. Garcia-Parra jumps on one to left field, and Grissom in front of the wall with room. Jim Tracy, the man who made the decision to turn Gagne from starter to closer. We asked the Dodgers skipper about him before the game.
He throws a number of strikes, evidenced by the fact that he's walked 4 people. He really has walked 3. I walked 1 for him. And he is who he is. In my opinion, who he is arguably the best closer there is in the American or National League.
And I'm not sure you could argue with that. That ball in the air, short left field, late break by Grissom. It falls in front of him. And Hillenbrand with a 1-out single. The tying run aboard against Gagne. We mentioned, Jerry, he's thrown now 4 games in a row.
Well, the other thing here, too, is the outfield very deep, trying to prevent against the extra base hit. That ball just drops in front of Marquise Grissom for the base hit. Red Sox hitters were so impressed with Gagne last night, they thought it was a split-fingered fastball he was throwing. That's how much movement he had on that changeup. Also, the ugliest hat in all of baseball.
Swing and a miss. A bottom fell out of that pitch to Varitek. Gagne gets teased about the goggle-like specs he's wearing, and can't wait for the day when he can have corrective laser surgery. But he says that he was told by the doctors his eyesight continues to change, and he can't have a surgery until it stops changing.
It's also a little bit intimidating for hitters. A guy that throws this hard to look out at a guy wearing goggles and an ugly hat.
Gagne grew up a 5-minute walk from Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and a base hit through the hole into right field. Hillenbrand makes a turn. He'll go to third, and the Red Sox have a tying run 90 feet away.
Well, we mentioned last night he struck out Varitek. This time Varitek gets the changeup and gets it right by Karras at first base. So better swings and more contact today from the Red Sox in their second time seeing Gagne.
Now Jim Tracy will come out to the mound. And the entire Dodger infield will gather around them. Interleague baseball continues next Saturday on our Fox Saturday Game of the Week. Some of you will see the Mets and the Yankees. Others will see the Giants and the Athletics. And some of you still will see the Cubs and the White Sox. It all gets underway at 12:30 Eastern and Pacific.
And Roger Clemens will not have to hit at Yankee Stadium against the Mets.
Brian Daubach will be sent up there to pinch hit for Jose Offerman. So Gagne facing his first threat in quite a while. Runners on the corners. And one out. Off the inside corner at 97. 1-0 to Daubach. Baerga would be next should we get that far here in the Boston ninth. Gagne's only blown save was against Atlanta. He had thrown two fastballs right by Gary Sheffield. He tried a third, and Sheffield hit it in the seats. 1-1 to Daubach.
Not too many pitches throw three fastballs by Gary Sheffield.
Jim Tracy was talking about going down to work out in the health club the next day as you get a look at this cut by Daubach. Gagne was already in there working out. Tracy said, what did you learn from last night? Don't throw Sheffield three straight fastballs. 1-1 pitch. Sails high and away. LaDuca lucky to get a glove on.
96 miles an hour on this last fastball. Gagne right now facing a hitter in Brian Daubach that has really been struggling recently. Gagne making a look for 61.
2-1. Check swing and a miss.
Once again up and away from Daubach. Tries to check the swing. Can't do it.
Well, now decision time for Gagne. Another fastball, or do you pull the string with a chain?
Well, he's made him look bad with two fastballs. The changeup, though, is one that could be hit on the ground for a game-ending double play.
They're calling for the heat. And here it comes. High and outside, full count. We'll look in on Paul LaDuca one more time. Does he throw what would be a fifth straight fastball to Brian Daubach?
And do you run the runner on first base? Could end up in a strike him out, throw him out to end the ball game.
Change up. Either that or the split. Had a little more velocity on it, but the bottom fell out.
Changing the eye angle. Two high fastballs, then the changeup down and away. Nasty. And that's exactly what he wanted in that at bat. No contact from Daubach.
Well, now the Dodger infield gathering around Gagne out on the mound, who summons LaDuca to join him.
One bit of conversation may be, and very unlikely it would happen, but sometimes with two outs you have the potential double steal possibility. Try to squeeze a run out at home. They want to be on the same page to make sure what they're going to do with the baseball in case that happens. I doubt that Varitek would be going, but you got to be prepared for anything.
Again, we'll get more on the sad story of the passing of Darryl Kile from Jeannie and Kevin Kennedy right after the ball game. Tying run at third, and Baerga the hitter. Swing and a miss. Well, Eric Gagne, he is revving it up.
And now the crowd starting to really get into it here at Dodger Stadium.
It is amazing what a closer can do for a ball club and can do for the fans of that team. No disrespect to Jeff Shaw, a terrific closer, but they didn't get nearly this excited in L.A. when he came in the game.
They love strikeouts from closers.
0-2. So the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Dodgers meeting for the first time in a meaningful game since the 1916 World Series. A one-run game last night, a one-run game today, and Gagne one pitch away from sending the Dodgers to a second straight win. Boston, meanwhile, one hit away from tying this game in the ninth.
Dodger closer in the game. Red Sox closer losing in the bullpen in case.
One and two to Baerga. On the ground, right side. Cora, long way to get it. Throws from the outfield grass. And Gagne has now converted 17 straight save opportunities. He leads the major leagues with 27 saves on the year. Take a look at our great feat of the game, brought to you by new Lowe Ultra, the only once-a-day cure for athlete's foot. And it came off the bat of Sean Green with his team down 3-0. Green with his 22nd home run drew the Dodgers within a run. They took the lead in the fifth, tacked on a run in the sixth. Boston got one in the eighth, but the Red Sox fall one run short. Jerry, a real pleasure. Enjoyed it very much.
Me too. Thank you very much.
For more information on today's game, the latest in Major League Baseball news, log on to foxsports.com. Today's game produced by Michael Weissman, directed by Bill Webb. Our associate director, Larry Lancaster. Our broadcast associate, Kevin Bresser. The technical producer, Danny Rotante. The studio produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorn and David Hill. For Jerry Remy and our entire crew, I'm Tom Brenneman. Thanks for being with us. Jeannie and Kevin standing by at our studios with all the post-game coverage. The Dodgers, a half game behind Arizona in the National League West. We'll see you next Saturday.